Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV. I hope you guys are well wherever it is that you may be around the world. I am slightly sorry that I haven't been covering or been around as much as I usually am when it comes to sort of streaming at the moment. But it has been quite quiet, especially from the Chelsea forefront. But it seems like we're starting to heat up. It seems like things are starting to tick over. And like I keep promising you guys, the more that things happen, the more you'll see of me, maybe potentially players, other individuals. We will be covering all of it, everything, anything to do with Chelsea, ins, the outs. We'll be talking about it. So it's just been really a thing of waiting for Chelsea to heat up a little bit, But I have got players with me today, and we're going to introduce him in a second. But make sure you smash that like button as well, guys. At the moment, we've got a poll running, and it's just asking you a straight answer. Just a straight, easy question. Sterling to Chelsea, yes or no? We're going to review that poll in a second as well. But make sure you smash the likes, guys. Subscribe if you're new to GNA TV as well. We're on our road to 6K subscribers. We're currently about 130 subscribers away from making it to that magic 6K, which we've only been going for just over a year. A year and 4 months now is how long this channel has been going for. Massive. Closing the gap to the 10K. Before we move forward, guys, you know what time it is. Let's cue that in. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV. I hope you guys are well wherever it is that you may be around the world. And I am joined by my friend, close friend, CFC Pies. Pies, it's been a minute. How are you doing?
Doing all right, bro. Bit tired today, but the Sterling news has kind of woken everyone up. I think everyone's been a bit bored of the transfer market, to be honest with you. A lot of people I've seen have got the Red Cross with Boehly out and everything. It's quite brilliant. I love Twitter sometimes. But yeah, look, I make no mistake. I've been a bit annoyed as well. I feel like we could have done some business or at least sent some bids in, but it looks like Chelsea are trying to keep things tight-lipped, working behind the scenes, and let's see what happens.
Well, that's true. Listen, guys, we will be covering a couple of things today. The main topic today is Sterling to Chelsea, the news that broke today from Di, some other sources that we're going to cover over that as well. We're going to start off with Jules Kounde, move on to Dembele, jump on to Sterling. We're also going to have a little bit of chat on Savić as well. And then we're going to finish it off, as we always do, with a little bit of Romelu Lukaku update as well, which I have to do just to see where he is at this current point as well. But big up to every single one of you guys in the chat, man. Over 115 of you in already, only 3 minutes in. Big shout out to all you guys. I want to quickly say hello to a couple of you. Big up to Erin, big up to Ilias, James, nice to see you as well. Jose, big up to you. Matty K as well. My boy lad Dylan's in the house as well. Sosa D, Serves, Concierge of Crime. Big up to you guys as well. MKZ_stars, big up to you. A lot of talking around Sterling in the chat already. Hiking with Martin, bro. Nice to see you as well in the chat. CFC Blues, nice to see you as well. Devin, FZ City, who's a City fan. Interesting to have him in the chat. Football Style, nice to see you as well. Erin, I'm trying to see if I can cover you all. Couch Critic, Top Pins, Arpan, Haley, nice to see you as well. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a lovely Sunday. Roseanne, big up to you. James Doran, AF, and Deals CFC. Big up to my guy Deals as well. Nice to see you as well. Big up to every single one of you. Right, looking at the poll as it stands at the moment. Sterling to Chelsea is what I asked you guys before we started this stream. At the moment, it's currently sitting at 70% to the 30%. So 70% saying yes, 30% are saying no. Maybe more to do with the overall news that's came out today in terms of value about with him. We will be touching on Sterling a little bit soon, a little bit later in the show as well. But I want to start off with Jules Kounde, because still Chelsea haven't announced or confirmed. They've not really had a tier one come out and say done deal, Fabrizio Romano style. Here we go. None of that's come out yet in regards to Jules Kounde. Obviously, you mentioned Sterling being, Dimario's come out of a tweet here talking about having some doubts on Dembele, but it's not game over Sterling. But this is Kounde. He's still a top target, and Tuchel also appreciates Man City's Ake, which we're not going to be reviewing today. I do feel with the Ake thing that it's potentially just another name added to the long list of centre-backs that have been linked to Chelsea. Piers, before we go straight into Kounde, Ake news, obviously your boy Nathan Gissin obviously announced it earlier on Twitter as well. Do you feel there's any sort of truth to this, or do you think we just need to wait a little bit and see how this plays out with Ake?
I mean, this one's interesting because the club have always liked Ake, but I'm pretty sure we actually turned him down or turned the chance down to re-sign him when City bought him, right? So we wasn't interested in matching the bid because we had some sort of matching bid right or first refusal, I think it is, similar to what we've got with Mark Gurhey at the moment, I think. Not Tomori, I think it's Mark Gurhey. But yeah, I think this is, like you said, another one onto the long list of targets. He would be really good in the back three, but I just don't see it happening, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think he costs quite a bit as well. He's actually been quite good for City, speaking to some of their fans. But yeah, no, I think this is one that's probably further down the list. You know, we've got so many defensive targets. You talk about Gvardiol, De Ligt, you know, others that have probably not even been mentioned, to be honest with you. So yeah, I don't take too much reading into this. It's just interesting that Tuchel apparently appreciates him. I mean, Tuchel apparently loves everyone at the moment. So yeah.
You know what? Being a Chelsea fan, it doesn't matter what season it is, even under the Roman era. If Chelsea are out in the market, you're guaranteed to be sure that Chelsea are probably going to be linked with every single player that's potentially looking to leave their club. Chelsea's name just finds itself in there all the time. And I said to you early on, just off air, I said, like, I can't in my head fully understand why Tuchel would be interested in Ake. He hasn't played many games for Man City this season. He's obviously backup for them as well. We're looking for defenders that are going to be our main starters. Don't get me wrong, it's important to have that backup, but we still got the likes of Malang Sarr there, Trevor Chalobah. There's a number of defenders that you could say could play maybe sort of a backup role at Chelsea. We need some top quality defenders, and Nathan Ake is just one of them ones that really makes sense to me, especially when you think that Chelsea may be getting Jules Kounde, who we're going to go into next. Jules Kounde, Ake, and Thiago Silva. Can you imagine that being your back three? It just, yeah, I mean, it would be ridiculous. It just wouldn't work, especially from a height element as well. But yeah, we move away from Ake back to Jules Kounde, and we are still waiting for that agreement between Chelsea and Sevilla. It looks like we have heard in recent times that Sevilla just want a cash deal only, which is fair enough, fine. They seem to be making things. I don't know whether it's a thing of Pies that Chelsea are just dragging this out and not just doing what they need to do, or do you feel that maybe Sevilla are playing a little bit hard to get against? It's pretty much the same as sort of what we saw last year.
Yeah, I think Sevilla. The thing is with Kounde, I think it gets done. I think we're probably just negotiating, and it's dragging on. I mean, I've always said Monchi and Marina are like the worst two people to negotiate. Like them going back and forwards, crazy, bro. They're very, very stubborn. They're gonna want top dollar for him, no matter how much he wants to leave. So, yeah, I think this one gets done. To be honest, it's just obviously dragging on a bit.
Thoughts on recent tweets of potentially Barcelona being interested in him as well? Do you think there's any truth behind that, especially now that they've been approved and stuff like that?
What's that, bro?
Barcelona. What's your thoughts on
Oh, I
Barcelona
mean, to be
being
fair,
interested?
yeah,
Yeah.
the economic levers could play. It could play a part in something. They've got money to spend now, but it's just if you're Kounde, like you've been wanting to join Chelsea for so long, like just join Chelsea. If Barca come calling and we don't get it done, fair enough. But that would be our fault completely. And maybe if you're Kounde, you think,
100%.
well, Chelsea have had enough time to get me by now. I'm off to Barca, but Premier League's attractive. I hope that plays a big part in his decision.
You said something very key there, and we've already seen it from Rudiger, because Rudiger obviously done his interview talking about before. Obviously, he'd signed for Real Madrid about being forced into a position where there was just a lot of uncertainty, and that he made a decision based upon pretty much not hearing back from Chelsea or being left in the dark. And that what does worry me with Chelsea in general. Don't get me wrong. Jules Kounde has wanted Chelsea for the last, what we could say, last season to now. He's still showing that interest. He's been to London. There's been reports that he's, kind of agreed personal terms with us as well. It's just now down to the clubs to agree. Reshad Rahman, who, from what I understand, is quite a big sort of Barca sort of journos, came out recently today and just said that Kounde is Chelsea's target this summer. The defender is keen on a move to the English side with Marina Grabaskaya in regular contact with his agents. There was a good relationship between CFC and Kounde's camp. Obviously, that was via Di Maurizio again.
I just tweeted something as well, bro. Simon Johnson has just said it's understood that Raheem Sterling has been talking to people about what life is like at Chelsea and what Thomas Tuchel is like as a coach. So that's very interesting.
Interesting. I mean, the main topic today is Raheem Sterling. I'm going to add that to I've just brought that up as well, actually. I'm going to add that to the tweets that we've got to go through here on Raheem Sterling as well. That's interesting, isn't it? That really is interesting. The fact that they've got into that sort of depth of him having communications already. And moving back to London, he is a London boy. You know, we're going to get into Sterling anyway. We'll get to him in a second, guys. Make sure you smash the like. So, guys, over 240 of you here, 10 minutes in. Big up to every single one of you guys. We will be reverting back, like I said, to the main topic today, which is Sterling news. And we have still got a poll out at the moment, which we'll revert to in a bit. But yeah, so, you know, there's the news in and around Kounde at the moment. Chelsea just still need to get it over the line. Chelsea have to have an agreement with Sevilla on money. Whether it's, I think Chelsea laid 50 million sterling down. I think they want a bit more than that. Closer to the 60 millions is where Sevilla want to be. So maybe Chelsea can try and negotiate to meeting that in the middle. Obviously, had his surgery as well, which is another part of the reason that supposedly why Chelsea are kind of holding back at the moment to just see, you know, how he gets fares with that as well. But Jules Kounde, for me, you know how much of a big fan I am of him. I do expect him to be one of the first guys, or if not second guys through the door. There's not much more to say on Jules Kounde. Piers, anything less more you want to say on Kounde other than he just needs to get done, doesn't it? Really, we need centre backs.
We need to send the official bid. You know, Fabrizio especially has been saying this for weeks. Like Chelsea in contact, waiting for official bid. Like there's been no official bid, and I'm gathering that when they do send the official bid, it will be the final bid, and it will be the bid that gets accepted. I feel like negotiations are going on behind the scenes as to what they would want, because I don't think Chelsea are going to waste time sending 2, 3, 4 bids like last summer, where we sent one bid, then we came back with some sort of offer with Zuma, and then I don't think we've got time for that. Hopefully, Chelsea have been a bit more efficient and just trying to nail down the final negotiation price of what they actually want.
100%. Obviously, just to finish, just to elaborate on what you just said, obviously you got a tweet from Nizar Kinsella himself, basically saying that I'm expecting Jules Kounde and Gabriel Salonia to be the early buys, and Chelsea fans might get a bit frustrated depending on sales and loans. I'm assuming he's reverting to then on after that, you know, the potential players coming in, etc., who it is, how quick they get things done. I don't know. I think we could just have to wait and see where we go with that. Big up to everyone, as always, in the chat. We're going to now fly quickly before we get into Sterling into Dembele, because Dembele is another one that's been, it's happening. He's going to come to Chelsea. And then all of a sudden we see videos of him saying that, you know, he's comfortable staying in Barcelona. Obviously, Nathan Gissin came out with a comment here saying that Chelsea have their doubts over Ousmane Dembele's injury record. The current feeling is that Thomas Tuchel's side are more interested in Raheem Sterling than Dembele, but their interest is still active. It cannot be ruled out yet. Piers, I think I asked this in the group earlier, actually, when we were talking. Do you feel that Chelsea will go for either or do you think there's an opportunity that if we get Sterling, that we could still sign Dembele as well, depending on obviously he wants to come to us?
Yeah, this one's very interesting because I mean, what, it's June 19th today.
Yeah.
His contract runs out at the end of the month, so I mean, if we get Sterling, we're going to need to sell another forward, I feel like, to get Dembele in. But who knows? I just feel like that's my feeling. I think Ziyech, Werner, Pulisic, obviously we're open to offers for a reason, because we want to make squad space and we obviously want to bring players in. So yeah, I feel like it's one or the other at the moment, but I feel like it can change depending on offers. The thing I'm worried about is, our team's actually going to bid for these attackers that Chelsea have. There's been nothing so far on any of them, obviously, apart from Lukaku. So Yeah, I've said with Sterling as well. I'd like him to come in if we had Dembele. I think Dembele would join us. I know that video came out where he said to the Barca fan he's staying, but I don't read too much into that, to be honest with you. I think it's just a totally open situation, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's totally. I think Barca could even offer him a new contract, in terms of improved contract offer with the economic levers. But again, I still read that they're chasing Rafinha. So I mean, who knows? I when I look at Dembele on the face of it, I think like this could be just a fantastic signing.
Yeah.
But I still feel like it's difficult. I really do. I feel like, you know, what Nathan came out with earlier, Chelsea are still concerned about his injuries. Obviously, Tuchel really likes him, but yeah, it's so difficult. Honestly,
It's
I
a
think
weird
I still feel
one.
like it's really
Yeah.
open.
I agree with you. I'm still stuck in between, and I feel that you get some journos come out saying that it's an issue. You know, his injury record, this, that, and the other. There was another comment on Dembele apparently asking, um, or wanting to know how much time is he going to get at Chelsea. You know, match time is he going to get at Chelsea? Is he going to be a confirmed starter, etc., etc. He was worried about his starting time there, which again, as a player, you know, if you know that Thomas Tuchel, and he knows Thomas Tuchel, he knows how he operates, you know, the relationship's already there. It's not like he's coming into a team with a manager that he doesn't understand. He's coming to play for Thomas Tuchel, and Thomas Tuchel knows how to get the best out of this player. Minutes shouldn't be a worry for Dembele. What Dembele should really be doing for me is, you know, if the Premier League is where he wants to go and Barcelona is, and he's done it his time at Barcelona, come over here, show us what you're about, do your thing, and earn your place. And don't get me wrong, I know our forwards aren't the greatest. We know that it's an area that we need to improve on, and we will and should be improving on as well. But he does, you know, the attitude of, well, I need to, you know, be told that I'll be playing all the time. If that's, you know, he can't have that attitude. Is what I'm saying. He needs to come and show us what it's about. Whether it's true or not, if he has said that, is another thing. But we've also got this from Simon Phillips, which was commented that today as well, which basically says that will Dembele come to Chelsea? I think it's fairly likely. It's been advancing over the last couple of weeks. He says he says in his Sterling article, I think Sterling would be as well as Dembele rather than instead of. So Simon Phillips's thoughts on this is that he feels that both can be done. But the ultimate question to this pie is if Chelsea do go for Sterling and Dembele in this summer window, obviously it looks like the Romelu Lukaku is one of the players that looks like he's making his way out the door. But doesn't that then have to force maybe a Ziyech, a Werner, you know, maybe a Pulisic in recent times? Like, do you not feel that we will then potentially have to then sell at least maybe one or more, maybe more two forwards out the door as well?
Absolutely, I think if we sign two wingers, we absolutely need one at least gone because they keep saying that Sterling is more of a replacement for Lukaku. I don't necessarily think. I mean, Sterling's playing up front. I just think it means in terms of squad space, Lukaku can go out, Sterling can come in. Havertz
Yeah.
probably going to be leading the line. But yeah, I think Tuchel in general wants more sort of these. He obviously wants a false nine up front. Sterling can play that, but he wants a more fluid attack for sure. He wants more wingers, it seems like, or at least inside forward. So yeah, I do think at least one attacker has to leave if Dembele comes in, which is why I'm not so confident now with the whole Sterling thing. Because if Sterling comes in, then it's like, where's the space for Dembele until we get someone
Mm,
gone? Or do we sign
mm.
Dembele and take a chance that someone can be sold, or maybe we loan someone later on in the window, like a Ziyech or something, which then allows space for Dembele. Like, we don't have to sell someone. We could loan Ziyech to like AC Milan or somewhere. It would just be nice if one of them could be sold, you know?
I agree. We're going to get to Sterling soon. Now, obviously, is the main topic today, but I do feel that, as in, you know, getting Sterling for the value that supposedly is around 35 million, which, all right, we're still waiting to have confirmation from other tiers from. But I still do feel that you need a Dembele next to that. You need someone else. I don't think Sterling's the full answer. And maybe vice versa. You bring in Dembele, you know, all right, Dembele and Havertz could work, for example. People look forward to maybe that kind of link up. But you need a goal scorer. And the one thing with when we're going to get to Sterling a bit later, Sterling can score goals. We know that he's had his moments of missing, but from Dembele's standpoint, it's a thing of like, you know, he's going to come in and he's going to create. He might not specifically score you a load of goals, which that may change under Thomas Tuchel. He may be able to work with and you know, and make him into that sort of inside forward that's not only great at creating and being direct, but also a goal scorer. And I do feel that looking at Chelsea moving forward, I don't know if you agree with me, Pies, that I think we may go down the route of just ditching the number 9 completely, because we just don't seem to have, you know, number 9s just do not work for us for whatever reasons, whether it's managerial, whether it's the player, or whatever it is, they do not work. And I just feel that we, you know, potentially this summer window, you could see a little bit of a change in the way that we approach, the way that we play from the forward line. Would you be confident, or would you be happy to see Chelsea play with more sort of inside forwards rather than have that sort of you know, that standout goal scorer?
Absolutely, I think it suits our system better. I think it
Mm.
suits the way we play much better. I think we're just more fluid. I think a lot of the top teams are doing it as well. I know, obviously, Liverpool have signed Nunes now, but you know he's more of a he's a striker, obviously, but he does play off the left also. So there's room for fluidity in that front line. City have signed Haaland, but again, they're going to use still false 9 in some games. That Alvarez is a very nimble little striker. Reminds me of Aguero, actually, that guy. I think he'll be very good for them. But a lot of top teams are playing without an actual striker now. I think this is the modern era. You know, they would a lot of modern progressive coaches. They want fluid front threes, but they want pressing front threes as well. They don't want to have a focal point. I think we've tried that over the years. Tuchel's tried that. He clearly doesn't. Um, well, it hasn't worked out with Lukaku, and he's open to letting him go. Giroud was good for us, but you know, still Giroud and Tuchel. That's not really what you would
Yeah.
associate with Tuchel.
Yeah.
Tammy a little bit more because he pressed well, but still he was a big target man. Sort of, you know, he's a bigger guy.
Yeah.
Havertz is tall, but he's not like, you know what I mean. He's not a target man. He's kind of, he does everything. Like he drifts to the right, drifts to the left. So I think Tuchel wants that interchangeable front three for me. I think that's the route we're going down.
Yeah, I hear you. I think it's something that we should potentially look to do. I think when you think of Thomas Tuchel as the manager, you know, and he's sort of recent, teams that he's managed in the past, he's never really had that sort of standout number 9. Even at PSG, you know, he had Neymar and others, but even with Cavani, I always think of that Cavani. Like he always used to use him as like a sort of an inside forward, if that makes sense. It was, even though he was an out and out striker, he always played him slightly differently as well. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how Chelsea move in the market for the summer window. Someone just sent me something in regards to quickly on Rafinha. Just basically that a meeting between Rafinha's agent and Barcelona will take place next week. The player's priority is to sign for Barca. Some people may have felt that Rafinha could have been an option to Chelsea. I think Fabrizio Romano came out not long ago and said that there's still an agreement in the round of about 55 million in terms of value for him. Maybe he goes there. If he does, I do think Rafinha could have been a great option. The fact that he'd already played in the Premier League as well. But if Chelsea are set to go for Sterling, who we're going to come to in a bit, and Dembele, then, you know, and that's what Tuchel wants as the manager, then I think we have to back it. You know, who are we to question him on that as well? I did ask you guys in the chat as well. Simon Johnson just tweeted. What did he tweet? Pies?
Basically, what I said
All right.
about
Okay.
the
Cool.
Sterling.
Okay. So there's nothing we need to cover new. All right. Cool. I asked you guys in the chat. Should Chelsea look to move into inside forwards, or do you still want to see a typical number 9 at the club? Big up to RD as well. Some people saying Lewandowski still. They feel like having that typical number 9 would be good, and Nkunku would be good for them. I actually like Nkunku. I know some people worry about the Bundesliga tax. I think the problem with a player like Nkunku is his value. You know, nearly 80, I think it's around 80 million euros, isn't it, for Nkunku, which is quite expensive. Yeah, a lot of people saying Lewandowski. Yeah, interesting stuff. Right, guys, there's over 430 of you here right now. We've nearly got 500 people tuned in with us right now. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please subscribe if you're new to GNA TV. We're on our road to 6K subscribers as well. Smash the like button as well. Let's get this close to 200 likes. We could easily all do that. Hit that little thumb. Hit the bell notification as well. Go and follow Plaz as well, at CFC Plaz on Twitter as well if you haven't done already. Couch says inside forwards who score goals. If not, then a traditional number 9. I just feel that you're probably right, Couch. It's just finding inside forwards that have the ability to do that and score goals. You know, they may not be that right now, but it's finding an inside forward that you can turn into that potentially. And that's on Thomas Tuchel. You know, he's got to find the right player. Arjan with a donation. Thank you very much. I'm not exactly sure what currency that is, mate, but big up to you. He said, if I don't see at least one signing next week, I will lose it. We need our Chelsea players for pre-season and we can't leave it late. Smash the like, people. Thank you, bro. You're right. And a quick one on that, Pies. Do you still feel that Chelsea, and I know a lot of Chelsea fans on Twitter, you see it every day like me, are very stressed in how slow Chelsea are moving. But do you feel that it's going to just all come at once eventually in the way that we're doing things? Do you think we're just going to just heat up now, or do you think still that we're moving too slow at the moment?
Yeah, probably. I'm still going to be a bit stressed out until we actually start putting some confirmed bids in, because we can have interest as much as we want. Tuchel can like these players as much as we want, but actions speak louder than words. We need to actually bid for these players. Official bids, official proposals sent to other clubs to show that we're serious about signing these players. At the end of the day, it's all talk until that happens.
100%, 100%. We'll have to, and I keep saying this to Chelsea fans. We're going to go straight into Sterling stuff next as well. It's people that are judging Todd Boehly already. I'm sorry, you're idiots. And that sounds horrible what I'm saying, but you are, because he's they've only owned the club for just over 2 weeks now, and there's a lot going on. And I always say, people, if you're going to judge these new owners, all right, let's give them at least this summer window to see how they act on this. And we're going to have to give them even longer. I've put a 2-3 year picture out because for me, I do feel that they're going to get people in. We are going to get signings, whether people like the players or profile players that come in or not. Just think about what Thomas did, the whole thing with Thomas Tuchel. Apparently Thomas Tuchel's been given the sort of the authority to sign off players now, which, if it's true, is a big thing, which means that he wants these players now, which is something that we've seen managers in the past pretty much not really have a voice, but just kind of not get what they want. And if that's true, and we bring in players that are the right identity for him moving forward, then we have to back it, But with Todd Boehly, I think we have to give these new owners time. We can't just think we've got to take our Roman mindset out of here and look at the, and give these guys the opportunity, because they're not going to run it the same. There's already talks. Apparently, Chelsea are using data already, Pies. Apparently, the Boehly effect's already in, mate. Apparently, we're going to start.
No.
You're going to start seeing more data sign. What do you think of that one?
No, it's not happening yet. I know that because I speak to someone close to the bid.
Yeah.
Actually on the board. It's not happening yet.
Not yet. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, guys, we're going to move on to Sterling in a second, but we're just going to quickly jump on to what have I done here? I haven't deleted some of these tweets because now I've got it all mixed up. Let's go. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. All right, this one is what we're going to next. So Sterling up very shortly, but there has been in recent times, as early as yesterday, talks about Savić potentially being an option to Chelsea. There's talks about the potential of Emerson and Ruben Loftus-Cheek going the other way. Maurizio Sarri very interested in these two players. Lazio value him in and around 60 million euros. Pies, you heard any? Is there an element of truth behind this? And is there any more news in and around this, or are we just waiting to find out if this kicks on?
This one is coming from a Lazio ITK and also Core Sports. That's Corriere dello Sport, I believe.
Yeah.
This one for me makes a lot of sense in terms of Chelsea's previous interest, the relationship with Maurizio Sarri, the relationship in terms of what players he would want. It mentions Emerson, Loftus-Cheek there. There's also Kepa that Sarri wants. Who's the other one I was thinking of? Loftus-Cheek, Emerson, Kepa. There was another one. Perhaps even Jorginho, who might go back to Italy.
Really?
So yeah,
Wow.
perhaps I'm just thinking like if Jorginho wants to go back to Italy and Sarri's at Lazio, why not? Probably Juventus, but we've not heard anything on Juventus in a while. But Savić is a very, very good player, but for me, he's more of a number 8. He's just had his best goal contribution season in his time at Lazio. 11 goals and 11 assists in the league. I think this one, yeah, potential for a swap deal and money, as it says there. But again, I think swap deals are just so rare nowadays. But I do believe this one in terms of I could see it being done because Chelsea have had a long-standing interest in Milinkovic-Savić way before this window. He's one of those players like Alexandro, like Cavani, like numerous others that Chelsea have always been linked with. Koulibaly, in fact, as well, another one. Seems to get
Mm.
linked to us maybe once every single window, and it never happens. So I'm not sure. He's been there a while as well. Could be looking for a new challenge. He's 27 or 28. But in terms of our squad, I just don't see, unless we move to the four at the back, how this makes any sense because he's not a pivot player. He's
That's what I was
very
going
good
to
at
ask you next.
he's very good at
Yeah.
tackling, but he's
Mm.
not a defensive minded player. He's an attacking minded player. And actually, I think it would be very good because if we do move to a four at the back and he plays further forward, this could be our first goal scoring midfielder since Lampard, or
The question,
so.
the question is here, Pies, is is he the right type of midfielder that Chelsea should be looking at right now in terms of profile? That's the big question. Because if
In
you're talking
terms,
about him being more of an 8, playing more
yeah,
forward, yeah.
in terms of the physical profile, yeah, of course.
Mm.
He can play most midfield positions, but I don't know. Like for me, he's more of an 8. Like if you signed him, I think it'd be a bit of a waste to use him as a DM. You know, you need to use his attributes going forward. His shooting, his passing, his dribbling as well. Yeah, that's my personal opinion, especially for the money that we'd have to pay.
Yeah, I think the one thing that he's very good at doing is the creating side of things. Some of the problems we had last season at Chelsea was being able to find the player quickly and being quick with it. And when you watch him, he's someone that always looks forward. And I think to have midfielders like that, and I'm not going to use the Cesc Fabregas thing too much because it does give me a little bit of that in the way that he can pick a ball out. And some of the I mean, look, I haven't watched tons of him, don't get me wrong, but what I have watched of him, he has this aura about him where that he gets the ball and he likes to control it, to control the game, and he also likes to create mainly, and he has the energy to get around the pitch. Can he play as a 6? I think if we go for that sort of player profile, I think you'd probably see him play as a pivot with a 6 with either a Kovacic or a Kante. But the clear instruction will be, I think, is that where they're both progressive footballers. So say you had Kovacic and him on the pitch, one would have to sit. So one going forward, the other would have to cover, vice versa. I think there would have to be a real understanding of when to go and when to stay. Um, it's like people feel that Thomas Tuchel wants a DM, needs a DM. We supposedly need Declan Rice, but if he decides to go for an option like this in midfield, as not opting to cover the DM area, maybe because of the limited options, then maybe we just got it a little bit wrong in where he's going with things, and we just don't know. And this is what I'm saying. This summer window could really be full of surprises, I think. So it'll be interesting to see. But the whole thing of Emerson and Ruben going the other way, I do feel we need to get rid of players. That's something that I have to see, and if we can do that by negotiating on new signings and bringing in players that are going to strengthen the team, then, by all means, I'm up for that. Let's do it. We should be doing it. Football Star, you asked me about Victor Osimhen. I don't know what you're asking. Are you talking about as a striker option? I don't think that will ever happen, mate. I don't think we've even been in discussions with this player itself. So not much I can say on that as well. I think you guys will sign Declan Rice in 2023. I still think we will get Declan Rice. I just don't think we will be forced into signing him for stupid money. And I've always made it very clear that Declan Rice, the player, is not a bad player to have in the team, but it's about the value side of it. It's about making sure that we do not get bent over. We've got to stop doing that, and just rushing and panicking because we haven't got someone for that position. So it's going to be interesting to see if this heats up or not. Some people saying we could bring in Ampadu as cover. I am still not specifically sold on Ampadu. I mean, Billy Gilmore's obviously extended his time here as well. I do feel we will have to still look at the central midfield option. It just depends on Chelsea on what they feel is priority right now, because we have got so many areas to sort, guys. But we are going to move on, guys. We have got Raheem Sterling news to go through next. That was the main topic news today. We did do a poll earlier on in the show, and at the moment, Sterling to Chelsea is sitting at 73% as yes to now a 27% no, which is pretty interesting.
Does
By the
price
least,
come into this though? I'd be interested
yeah.
maybe if you do another poll. If say Chelsea were bidding 50 million, would that poll result change?
Let's have a look. Let's do another poll. So what should I say? Should I say Chelsea? If Chelsea, yeah,
Sterling 50 million plus, would you still want him? I bet the poll
yeah.
results are different.
Let's have a
Perhaps I'm
look.
wrong, but a lot of stuff that I've seen on Twitter is they're really, interesting Sterling because of
That's a
the
good
price.
one. That's a good one, because now we will find out whether it's price driven, or if it's actually because they feel that
Serious
he's a quality
interest, yeah.
player. Yeah. So Sterling 50 million plus, would you still want him? Yes or no? That's in the community for you guys. 500 of you guys here. Big up to you guys. Big show today. Make sure you subscribe if you're new to GNA TV, guys. Smash the like. We should be at least 200 likes up by now. We've only got 115. Let's try and get this as close as we can to 200. There it is. The poll's out for you guys already. We'll be reviewing that in a little while, but we will start talking about Raheem Sterling, and it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because it's one of them ones where it's sort of it's not physically died, but it had a bit of heat and then it dropped off, and now it's picked up again, and it seems to be a heavy interest. And obviously, Di Marzio himself came out with the update saying that Chelsea FC are now confident in, to close Sterling deal from Man City. Transfer fee would be in and around 35 million sterling. My question to you, Pies, is: are you one of them people that is happy if it is for this amount, and if it was any more than that, would you be automatically turned off of it?
I think just straight up 35 million, no add-ons would be amazing. I think that would be a fantastic deal.
Yeah.
But I do think it will be some add-ons. I think it will probably reach 45 million. Um, if it's anything like 60, no, I don't want it to be that much. But he is a very good player. I do rate him. He is frustrating sometimes, but I do believe he improves us. I think, yeah, I think anything below 50 million, I'm happy with. But again, I go back to my older point. I don't just want Sterling. It needs to be Dembele and Sterling. So, but yeah, I mean, if we can get it for 35, fantastic deal. And add-ons, I don't, everyone add-ons are subjective. Like they may never be paid. It depends what they are. So if
Mm,
there is add-ons, it doesn't mean Chelsea fans need to overreact. It could be appearances, it could be title, it could be a Premier League title. In which case, why would we care anyway? Because that means he would be helping us if that add-on was eventually paid. Could be a Champions League. So who's say theoretically the bid was 35 million or even 40 million plus 10 million add-ons, but those two add-ons were Premier League and Champions League. No one's going to care if we have to pay them eventually anyway,
true.
because we're sat there with a Champions League and a Premier League. So yeah,
The other side to it as well, and the people forget this as well. Big up to Dan in the house, one of my boys that we go to the bridge together to watch the games as well. But the other thing to this side of it as well is that Chelsea will negotiate. I don't know what the contract length will be for Sterling, but people forget he is still 27 years old. He is still very young. He's Premier League proven. He scored 117 goals, I think it is, off the top of my head, or 107 goals in the Premier League since he started in the Premier League. He's also got 77 assists to his name in the Premier League. He is a player that is proven. Let's just be serious right now. I know he was in a very good Man City team, and they do create a lot for him. He has got that element of where him missing goals as well. We've seen it in the past. You would have to create chances for him to be effective as well. But he is very direct. He is very quick. He does understand the league well enough. He isn't going to shy away from a cold, wet game away to whoever, north or south, wherever. You're not going to, you're bringing in quality. There is quality there in Raheem Sterling. And, whether it's 35, 40 million, some are saying may have to be close to 60 mil. We're going to go into them in a bit. they will split this contract over a certain period, and I don't feel that. So I think people forget that this does get split out. Whatever the total cost is for this player, it will be split out over the period of or the length of the contract. Like Pi said, you have your add-ons and whatever, which will come into effect dependent on Champions League runs and whatever else that would go in with that. But if he comes into Chelsea, and I'll ask you this, Pies, this is kind of, would you automatically say he's our best forward?
With Sterling,
Hmm.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I would
What,
say
what
so. He's the most Premier League proven out of anyone we've got. Yeah, he would be our best forward, I think.
I'm not his biggest fan, and I still have my judgments on him as a player. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I will admit it. I am for me, it's very a price-driven thing. If Chelsea get forced to having to sign him for 60 million, I won't be happy about it. You know, if it's 35 million, I'll take it. Like, you know, I'm not turning away from a player that does have outputs, and he does have heavy outputs. And, you know, bringing him in is good, but it doesn't solve the issue. Him playing with the forward line that we currently have at the moment, minus Lukaku, because it looks like he's potentially leaving, you know, it doesn't solve it for me. You know, we still need that creative spark. And that's why I keep saying Dembele, if Dembele comes and you also get Sterling, that is a fierce forward line. One on the left, one on the right. Both have speed, both can create. You know, it's then down to whoever plays up front, Kai Havertz, whoever it is that we decide to go forward with, to be clinical, because there will be, you know, we will have that creative element, and they will run behind, and it will be a completely different Chelsea look from the forward line to what we are used to or accustomed to seeing. You look at Ziyech and the way that he plays the game. He doesn't run it, you know, run behind. He drops deep, and he's meant to be the career. We've not seen enough of it for me. Timo Werner, we already know technically he's not good enough as well. You know, he will use his pace to get behind. Pulisic is one of them, but we've again just not seen enough of the dribbling ability, the quality that he possesses. Maybe it will bring the best out of him playing with these type of players. I don't know. Kai Havertz, I think I keep saying it with Kai Havertz. I automatically think he would benefit the most out of it, especially if he's leading the line, having players like Dembele or Sterling, you know, and or Sterling around him as well. So, you know, it's definitely like, it's definitely not, you know, I would definitely not turn my head away from it, is what I'm saying. And I've not listen, you know, some people may feel that he's very, very good and he's worth 60 million. Fair enough. I would take Sterling, but there has to be a price cap to it for me. But I keep saying, the reason I keep saying that is from being smart within the window, and having, because the things, we have got so many areas to work on as well. If we're getting rid of players, yeah, and we're selling them for well, and Mourinho's negotiating with teams and it's working, or they're a part of a negotiation of bringing a player too, then fine. That's different. But, you know, it's going to be interesting because this Sterling news is really heating up. Fabrizio Romano's commented a couple of times as well on it. Maybe he will share if he has any more news
To
on
go
it.
on Simon Johnson's post, where he said something about Sterling has been asking certain individuals what life is like at Chelsea already, apparently.
Right. Well, I was actually going to jump into your tweet, actually, which was the next thing we was going to come into. Good ideas. It's understood, and this is recent news, the most recent news you can get when it comes to Raheem Sterling. It's understood that Raheem Sterling has been talking to people about what life is like at Chelsea and what Tuchel is like as a coach. I think most players, Pies, would do that. If you're going to move from A to B, you want to know what it's like, isn't it? But again, you're not going to get that sort of, you know, you're not going to get, oh, don't come. He's not good. He's this, that, and the other, unless you talk to Lukaku, right? Because he's one of the only players that hasn't obviously benefited under Tuchel, or maybe that relationship's fallen out. But, you know, I can see Thomas Tuchel, if he really wants Raheem Sterling, picking up the phone and you know, getting him on side. I think one thing Tuchel's very good at doing is the man management side of things. You know, it's really like pulling players aside, making them feel worthy and things like that. So the fact that Raheem Sterling's gone out of his way to understand this just shows how interested he is of this, you know, of coming to Chelsea, right? By the looks of it.
Yeah, 100%. Remember, he's been on England duty lately as well, so I reckon he's probably asked Mason Mount and Reece James, perhaps. I reckon. Yeah, he was pictured a lot with Mount actually as well, which was what was quite interesting. Now looking at the news now, so yeah, I'm sure he's been asking Mount and James those two things.
You probably feel that he's probably been doing that. If his mindset is to leave Man City from the outset, if that has always been that case, then you would have expected him to maybe ask these things a lot more sooner, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one. You know, his outputs are definitely there. He's definitely there. He's a player that can work to a degree. I'm not fully sold on it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I ain't fully sold on him. But if it's for the right money, if we can negotiate the right value for him, and Man City sell him for anywhere that Dimarsio's come out and said, then fair enough. But if it is, and we're going to bring up this tweet now as well from City Extra, who've commented from obviously Ben Ransom from Sky saying it would take nearer 60 million for Man City to do a deal for Raheem Sterling's transfer window. Pies, 60 million for Sterling. What are you saying?
No, no, no. I don't want Sterling for 60 million. 35 plus a few add-ons, maybe 10 million add-ons, sure, but if you're touching 50, 55, 60 million, no, I don't want him for that. I think if you get Sterling, then it's a good deal for the right price. I don't think we should overpay for someone who has 1 year left on his contract. And as I said, it has to be him and Dembele, which I still think can happen depending on outgoings for sure.
So we put a pie out earlier, Pies, saying Sterling 50 million plus, would you still want him? So currently at the moment, we are sitting at 53% saying yes and 47% of people saying no. And there is 540 people in here live that have said that right now. If you haven't if you haven't voted, guys, please vote up there. I want to just see where everyone's mindsets is as an overall. So please, please make sure you're doing your voting above as well. But that's a lot more even than I thought. It seems like most of the Chelsea people that are especially in here are quite happy to sign him for 50 mil, which is quite interesting. That should we say at the least, quite interesting. What are people saying in the chat as well while we're on here? We have got people talking about Neymar. Plans, real quick one. Neymar to Chelsea. Can that ever happen, or would this happen in the window?
No, bro, I don't think so. I think that would absolutely destroy our wage structure as well. I think that was, a nice idea earlier on in the window, but there's been zero links at all. Um, and yeah, that would cost a lot of money, bro. That would be what fans call a statement signing, by the way. I've seen that word a lot coming out on Twitter. Todd Boehly wants a statement signing. Look, statement signings are like Haaland, Mbappe, Neymar, Messi, Rice, Sterling. These aren't statement signings. They're very, very good Premier League proven signings that will improve any club. I
Hmm.
don't think they're statement signings.
100%. Monster, my boy, nice to see you in the chat. Nice to see you in the chat, bro. It's been a while. Big up to Monster CFC. His comment here says, is it Dembele and Sterling, or is it Dembele and Sterling, or Dembele / Sterling, either or? Well, bit of a mixed view from what we've seen on Twitter, Monster. Simon Phillips, was it Simon Phillips? Yeah, it was Simon Phillips, came out and said could potentially be both. Some others are saying it could be either or. Who knows? The lack of clarity that we currently still stand with ourselves with this. Pies, for you personally, how do you feel Chelsea will approach it? Do you think it'll be either or do you think it will be they will look at both?
I think we'll look at both, but again, as I've said, I think Dembele comes in if an agreement can be found for one of our other attackers to leave, because everything we're hearing, and now from the Athletic as well, that Sterling is directly correlated to Lukaku. Now, obviously, not the same position, but it means Lukaku goes, we get a forward in. Ziyech, Werner, Pulisic, even Hudson-Odoi on loan, anyone goes, Dembele can come in. The only problem with this is now that it's June 19th, his contract runs out soon, so he's got to make a decision. Chelsea in the next week or so, next week and a few days, if it is true that they need someone to go, which I believe it
Hmm.
is due to squad space, we need to sort something out for one of these attackers to leave. The only other thing I could see happening, as I said to you earlier, is Chelsea sign Dembele anyway and have confidence and trust in that they can get rid of someone later on in the window, albeit
Hmm.
even if it is a loan. I could also see that happening.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Big up to Joey in the house as well. Nice to see you as well.
For
Real
me,
quick
Jem,
one.
for me, I was
Go-
just going to say, I think
go.
Dembele is too good of an opportunity to pass up on by. I think
Hmm.
if you sign Sterling and you get Dembele, I'm automatically excited for next season. Like that would be that's a completely fresh attack. Like we could, they're two starters. Dembele is a fantastic player,
Oh, 100%.
and
Hmm.
like I just feel like he's on a free. Like this is someone when he's fit. That's one of the best wingers in the world, by the way. He absolutely is in terms of pure talent and ability. His creativity is something that Chelsea need massively. He's dribbling. He's 2-footed. Like this is honestly, it's a statement signing when it's free, almost. Like it really is. Honestly, he's one of the best wingers in the world.
If I had to choose between the two, I would choose Dembele all day, and that's I mean,
100%.
that's not. Some people go, but why? He comes from La Liga. He hasn't played in the Prem. Sterling's proven he's got output. Look, this is nothing against Sterling. I just feel that what Pi said there on his game, and let's be serious. I know people worry about the injuries, but he hasn't been injured for a while. But if you look at the end of the Barcelona season with him, he just looks electrifying, and he possesses an ability as a winger that I haven't seen. I don't think I have seen many forwards can do, which is being able to use both feet. He can shoot with his left, he can shoot with his right, he can cross with both feet. He's very hard to understand what he's going to do with that ability. He's very quick. I mean, very quick, rapid. For someone that suffers from injuries, he's still got a lot of pace. He's still very young. This is a massive opportunity for Chelsea to sign a player that I think will definitely help us. It will definitely help Tuchel, especially the forward line. I know a lot of people worry about the system. You know, you buy these players, but if we play the same system, you're going to have the same problems. Look at our forwards; they suffer. I don't feel that's entirely true. I keep saying this. I feel it's important that we have the right profile of player. Profile of players are important for a system, and why we see that Chilwell and Reece James are so good is because they suit the system. It's because what's asked of them or what's required of them kind of fits their abilities. Why our forwards don't work is because they ain't as versatile as the likes of Reece James and Ben Chilwell in their own positions. You know, Ziyech's very narrow, very limited in the way that he plays. The four suits him. Timo Werner, who knows? You know, you play him as a second striker, you play him off the wing. What just doesn't work. He's very, again, he needs space to run into. Very limited. Lukaku, I don't need to even talk about, even though we're going to quickly talk about him next, real quickly. You know, Havertz is one of the only ones that can adapt to the different systems, but does suit the three. And Mason Mount, I don't really feel with Mason Mount entirely that he should be playing as a forward. You know, as one of the three of the forwards. You know, he can play there and do it, but like I keep saying, we don't have that direct, direct class forward, and he would give you that Dembele by abundance as well. But it's gonna be interesting for real. What happens to Mount? What does happen to Mount, Pies? We signed Sterling and we signed Dembele. Do you see a system switch, or do you think it will just be heavy rotation?
Um, it's an interesting one. I think we could switch a system. I think we could go to a four at the back, but I don't know. For me personally, until we get that DM, I don't think Tuchel changes to the four at the back. That real proper
Mm,
profile that we're lacking. I don't think he switches until that happens. But I mean, we was all complaining about lack of depth last year. Like we played the most games out of anyone, I think in Europe or England at least. We definitely did. So we
mm.
need options. Dembele's not going to be fit all the time anyway if we sign him. So that's just natural. So no, Mount will play plenty of games. Let's
4-3-3. That's what people want, don't they? They want that 4-3-3, mate.
maybe,
I,
yeah, maybe.
again, though, Piers, if we don't buy the right profile of defenders, how are we playing a back four? You know, like Thiago Silva can do it. Don't get me wrong, he can do both. But I keep saying it. We know he's getting a little bit older, but again, you still need rotation for him in that. You bring in Jules Kounde. Can he play in the back four? He can do both. Don't get me wrong. Some people want to see him as not as a centre back, but as a right back. When we don't need that, you've got Reece James there, so maybe you could see Kounde being a centre back. I just feel that you need to have them versatile options, and like De Ligt, for example, he can play back three and back four. He'd be a very good option for switching system. Kounde Boehly, he can play in the back three and potentially probably play in the back four with just his experience and whatever else. I think we need to realize that if we don't get the right players, profile players, we won't be able to adapt. Won't be able to do that switch. And by the sounds of Thomas Tuchel, from the last time I actually heard him, he kind of made it quite clear that he was still happy with the system that he's currently got, the three, and he feels that certain individuals play very well in it. That just tells me that he's probably going to look to just strengthen this system for now, and add players that have the quality to play in this system, which is what we didn't have last season. The depth just ruined us, So it's going to be an interesting. Remember, Chilwell will be back next season. He will, but will he be back and firing at the beginning of the season? I don't know. It's another area that. Do you know what? Quickly, Pies, we'll touch on that. Quick area. Left wing back. Out Nori. Sosa. Do you think Chelsea will approach it or look to provide backup in that area for Chilwell?
I've always said I think Sosa will sign, especially if we play wing backs. If we get rid of Emerson and Alonso. If not, my prediction is that Emerson stays, and I think that's actually a very likely outcome. I didn't first believe the reports. Speaking to people as well, that Emerson was a big fan favorite of Tuchel's, but I kind of got suggestions that actually the reason why Alonso stayed is because Emerson was just so much easier to ship out, and he wanted to play, so he went on loan rather than Alonso. That was the reason that I was told. So yeah, I think Emerson could stay 100%. I think Tuchel does like him. He likes his attitude and he likes his work rate. But I'm not really a big fan of Emerson. I'd like it if he goes. I think Juventus
Yeah.
are interested. Juventus are interested in a lot of players, by the way, from us. Jorginho, Emerson, they seem to be linked. So yeah,
Keeping
I
Emerson.
do agree. I do agree with Monster. I
Yeah.
have a feeling that we can't improve every single area in one window, and
Mm.
unless Emerson and Alonso go, I do believe Emerson stays. I agree with Monster. Yeah.
I feel it falls down to priorities, and Monster could be 100% right. Maybe it's a stopgap to just keep Emerson for another season or so, even though we're going to have to give him another contract, most probably. Um, I think it just falls down to priorities, and the biggest thing is we've just got so many areas to sort out, and that's why I keep saying about being smart. Being smart in this window. Do not go and blow the budget on 2 or 3 players with heavy wages and heavy fees. We need to be clever with it all. It's going to be interesting to really see. We've got 2 quick things to fly through. One of them being DiMarzio's article, actually, which I'm just going to quickly read out, which says Man City's Tagline Sterling is a player that is very high up on Chelsea's list, expiring in June 2023. The department of Lukaku on the cards. Chelsea are confident in stealing the deal. Thomas Tuchel was a big fan of him, apparently, as well. He's 27 years old, as we already know, he's from London, which could make a move to the West London side appeal to him. The club is now working, which we already said, on a £35 million deal to bring him across, which we'll have to see what happens. In terms of Dembele, he mentions that Barcelona's Dembele, whose contract is set to expire in the month, which would make him a free agent. The 23-year-old currently has no intent to accept the current proposal from the Spanish side. On that, it seems like Barcelona ain't going to offer another proposal. That may change, but at the same time, the amount of players that they're looking to bring in, maybe they are just going to let it fizz out and let him go. Chelsea are interested in a French winner. The Blues currently have their doubts over him, with the injury record being a concern. The current feeling around the club is that Chelsea are more interested in Raheem Sterling rather than Dembele. It's also right to clarify that the name Dembele is still active. It's not game over. So let's see with that. We also said earlier on in the show, Ake and Kounde are 2 names that have been mentioned in the long list of centre-backs that Chelsea are looking as well. But yeah, Ake is more of the new news recently as well, which did shock me, actually. When it came out, I was like, what? Like, out of every player, like Nathan Ake. But anyway, we move from that. And on top of that, we have a little bit more breaking from Athletic UK, actually, that's come out and said basically that, where is it? one source, it was what it says here, only stumbling block for Chelsea's pursuit of Raheem Sterling is the summer. Raheem Sterling this summer is the size of the fee. So Chelsea will take him, but they want him on the cheap. Man City on the flips of it will probably want to try and get as much as possible. Whether they can meet in the middle would yet to be seen. But if there is one stumbling block, is what Athletic are saying, it will be
But
the
the
fee.
Athletic are very pessimistic anyway. Let's just say that they like to cover all angles. So, yeah, of
Yeah.
course, a stumbling block would be a fee if it's too much, but it doesn't mean that it can't happen. I think this one is very much on.
Wait, I'm just reading what they said before that, Pies. Chelsea are growing in confidence they can complete a deal for Man City's Raheem Sterling. Then they go on to say Raheem Sterling has been talking to people about what's life's like, which we've covered on. And then you're right. What you actually said there, it seems like they've just covered every angle. They've not stuck to one bit, have they? They've just sort of, said that Chelsea want him, and then he's asking about life. But the only problem could be his feet, which is just like any other player, guys. There's a lot of it is common sense when you think about it as well. So I would say let's just wait and see if there's any more news that picks up from it. Whether Fabrizio Romano comes out, Di Marzio comes out with a bit more news for us. We have to see what happens moving forward. We are coming up to the hour. It's over, nearly 600, 550 of you guys here. Big up to every single one of you guys. Make sure you subscribe if you're new to GNA TV. We will be bringing transfer news and breaking news all the way through the sort of summer window. You will see Piers on and off when he's free. I always invite him to come on if he can. So, yeah. But, Piers, I know you're going to shoot obviously soon, but I wanted to just quickly touch on Romelu Lukaku. Wrong one. Romelu Lukaku, because he's been going back and forwards trying to get this move done so that he can move to Inter Milan, and Inter Milan are now saying that they'll pay all his wages, but now the problem is Chelsea and the fee and whatever, and Chelsea want a player out of it. And obviously you put this comment out saying that Todd Boehly, Chelsea and Tuchel feel they can't continue with Lukaku. Chelsea are going to start discussing internally on many things, including Jorginho and Kante. Do you feel the Chelsea buying players is being held up more because of what's happening with the Lukaku thing at the moment?
Seems like it. I actually DM'd Fabrizio yesterday, and he was like, "Don't panic. Chelsea are working internally, as I've said." So I mean, yeah, he keeps saying to Chelsea fans, "Patience." I guess. Patience, patience, patience. Um, yeah, I mean, he said this on the video in his YouTube video that Chelsea are working behind the scenes, but main priority at the moment is Lukaku talks. I honestly think this should happen tomorrow. I think a lot of the media reporting tonight that they will have that conference call. Supposedly, Todd Boehly had sudden commitments last night because it was supposed to go on Saturday night. So now it might go on tonight, and then maybe Monday we get full clarification. So yeah, look, this Lukaku thing is clearly holding the Sterling move up anyway. And I think now that you've got concrete Sterling news come out, I think the club are
Yeah,
confident that Lukaku's gone pretty much, because
yeah,
if they weren't confident Lukaku was going, they don't put this, Sterling news out to the media, because that's how it works, right? Especially with the Athletic, they're a club mouthpiece, so they've got that information. They've been allowed to post that, so yeah, I believe
yeah.
this one's close, Lukaku.
There's no there's no way in hell that this guy stays, is there?
Nah, there's not.
Can you imagine if Todd Boehly don't sell him? Because this see, the thing with me with this thing is right is that if Todd Boehly don't sell him because of whatever reasons, yeah, but Thomas Tuchel doesn't see him in his plans and doesn't really think he should be here. That goes against what Thomas Tuchel wants. That brings me back to the Roman era. Do you know what I mean? So I think the biggest sign of Todd Boehly backing Thomas Tuchel is to show us that, it is to show us that you will get rid of players and bring in players that your manager wants. Not every single one. There might be ones that you can't get because of values or whatever. But if a player doesn't want to wear your kit, if he doesn't want to wear that shirt right behind me there, yeah, and play for the badge and play for Chelsea Football Club, then I don't want you here anyway. And this guy has just been a burden. He's been a burden since he came through the door. He's become a burden a year later. Now he's leaving. And for me, I keep saying it, Piers, I don't know how you feel about it, but he goes down as the worst signing in Chelsea's summer history ever for me. He's the worst signing. And it's not even just the fact that I know some people say, but Morata and whatever, it's just the overall package with him. Like he's just been abysmal. And the fact that he came in with all this, yeah, I'm world class. I should be in this. Be spoke about this. I've adapted my game in Inter Milan. I'm versatile. I can play to what the managers want. And then a season later, then just walk, which is what he's done. He's walking. Just goes to show me that you're not the man that you think you are. Because if you are this man that you supposedly painted that yourself to be, then you'd want to stay and prove us wrong. But he doesn't want to do that. And I don't know. I just feel like he's been found out. Any sort of last words on Romelu Lukaku for you?
Well, I think I'll leave those until I see his interview when he goes back to Inter Milan because I'm sure he's going to
Mm,
start. I'm really interested when he's out of England, he's back in Italy. What's he going to say? Oh, I've missed you guys so much. I didn't want to leave. Oh, mate, it could be interview part two, and then he'd never get in trouble for it. So yeah, I don't think this is the last I'll say on Lukaku. Look, what I will say is that it's clearly not worked out. He's running from the grind as well. 1 year he wants to go. He's going back to Italy. He's done. So yeah, screw him. He's obviously clearly doesn't care about Chelsea as much as he thinks. You can have problems with a coach, but I don't really think, obviously no one really knows Tuchel personally or is on the training ground with him, but Tuchel doesn't come across like a guy that you can't sort problems out with. He seems pretty approachable and adaptable. So, look, I mean, Lukaku clearly can't adapt to our system, and that's the way we play. At the end of the day, when he joined, he said he could play whatever way Tuchel wanted him to, whether he wanted to hold the ball up, run in behind, be a focal point, playing a two striker, and he clearly can't do some of those things. So, he's a very sensitive player as well. And look,
yeah.
it's clearly not meant to be. So that is it. Goodbye, best of luck. But I don't really care, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm on the same feelings as you, mate. To be honest, I'm pretty bored with talking about him. To be honest, I'm well past even. I just want him to go. I do. I have a little GNA TV party when he leaves as well. I know that I never wanted him at the beginning. And I know it sounds like I'm being all thingy, but I just thought it was too good to be true, and I just knew that it was a panic buy. I knew we'd overspent on him as well, and unfortunately, I wanted him to prove me wrong. I wanted him to be that 30 goal, 20 goal. If he does that, then that means Chelsea are doing well, and I would have been like, great. He's showing us what he's about, but he's just done the complete opposite. We've not benefited from him being at this football club. He's not done anything to to benefit, earning what he earns, being the highest paid player, and us spending 100 million. Like we committed heavily to him, and he just, in my eyes, just shitted on us. That's the way I see it. So it is what it is. Pies, big up to you, man. Thank you for coming. I know you're going to shoot, aren't you? Anyway, because it's been over an hour. I will open up the lines for a bit, let these guys in for the next 20 minutes. But thank you again for coming on, and sure it won't be the last I see you. Anyway, we'll be jumping into news once we get news, shall we say? But any sort of final words before you shoot off?
No, just yeah, thanks for watching the stream, guys. A lot of people in here, so make sure
Yeah.
to smash the like button, subscribe to Jerm. He's grinding, aren't you, bro? So yeah, just keep it up, and I'll see you next time.
And try but also make sure you check CFC Pies out as well. You've also got a podcast going on, haven't you, on Spotify at the
Yeah,
moment?
I
Is
have.
that
It's been really, really difficult to get guests actually. A
Mm,
mixture of sort of matching dates has been horrible with some of these journalists, and obviously, really, the idea was to get the podcast to be a transfer related podcast. So
mm,
I wanted to dip into some contacts and try and get as many people that I know on as possible and that I've podcasted with. But it's been really hard, to be fair. But yeah, I have got it as CFC 365 podcast on Spotify. Hopefully over the next couple of weeks when transfers start warming up, I'll be able to get a few more episodes out. I know I've got one planned with Liam Toomey of The Athletic. Also looking into Sami Mokbel from the Daily Mail, who's a chief reporter. So yeah, I'm hoping to get those episodes out.
guys, go and check him out. Is the link in your Twitter feed? Is it for your Spotify? Yeah.
It is not, but you
Or
can just search up on Spotify CFC 365 podcast. That's all you need to search. It's got the similar logo to my new Twitter logo. So yeah, it's a part of our website that I've got going. So yeah.
there you go, guys. I've even put it up. Still over 500 of you guys here. What a big show, honestly. Thank you everyone for coming in as well. Pies, take care of yourself, bro. I'm sure we'll talk in a bit anyway. I'll talk to you
Yep.
in a bit.
Cheers guys.
See you
See you
later,
later.
bro.
So,
Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Right, guys, I am going to open up the lines, give you about 25 minutes to come in. Sorry, I'm a bit up against it today. I'd like to have got more views in and opened it up and let everyone get in. But come in. The link's in. I'll give you get your thoughts, whether it's Sterling, whether it's Dembele, whether it's the Lukaku news, whether it's Kounde, whether it's whatever it is that you want to talk about. Make sure you do. But make sure you smash the like button, guys, because we should be over 200 likes easily. Now, we've got 174 likes. Still over 400 of you guys here as well. Big up to every single one of you guys. Subscribe if you're new to GNA TV as well, please, because we are on the road to 6K subscribers. We could have actually made it 6K subscribers a day. What are we actually on subscribers? Let's have a look at the moment. So we are on, we're on 5,855 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, please do, because we're on like I said, we're on our road to 6K. If we can get another 150 subscribers, if you are new in here, please subscribe. I'd appreciate it massively as well. We've got Declared and Rodrigo here, guys. How you doing?
Oh, good.
Big up. Long time I say, Rodrigo.
Oh, yeah, long time no see.
What are we saying, guys? What are we saying? Well, how do you feel about the Sterling news? Let's start there.
I can go.
Go on.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the panic in the fan base is pretty funny to me. Sterling is an interesting one. I mean, that poll just goes to show that people just want to transfer. People are dying for just anyone at the moment. No one realizes that Sterling doesn't solve our goal scoring issue.
No,
doesn't do that. What Sterling does is earn 300k, and I don't think he's going to take a pay cut. And if with Lukaku gone, he'll be our highest paid player. I don't think he's going to be our best player and fix our problems.
Isn't he more creative than what we have though in attack?
He's a great dribbler. In stats, he doesn't even look that great in a team like Man City. On the eye test, if you've seen some of the misses that he missed, I mean, there's some of the easy chances that he's very Werner on a Werner level for me in terms of converting. And look, I don't think our problem. I don't think chances created was a big issue in our team. I mean, we were. I think we were 10 off. 6-7 off Man City in big chances created, but in the table we were 20 goals off.
But don't you think bringing in a Sterling actually will push the other guys to step up the game? You know.
In all honesty, we had 6 of them, yeah, and no one pushed each other, yeah.
Declared, I heard you say that you're not overly keen on the Sterling thing, but if you were to get him for 35 million and negotiate a decent wage, would you not take it?
Well, that's what I brought up the wage. Yeah, 35 million is a great deal, but he's on 300k. Is he taking a pay cut or is he getting a pay rise?
He's going to have to, isn't he? He's not going to get 300k from Chelsea. There's no way.
Well, that's what I mean. So yeah. I mean, him taking a pay cut is the biggest thing. I mean, how less does he take? He'll be. Like we talked about it, like Lukaku, Kounde, and Werner being our highest paid, and who should these slots go to? Because you can't just give it to anyone with the wage bill that we have. So does Sterling fit one of them? Is Sterling that big high-profile player that should take one of those slots, even if we get him for 35 mil?
I think, like I keep saying, if you get Dembele with him, I think you've got yourself a good 2. Like in terms of what you get with him, like being direct, quick, being able to run behind, creativity. Sterling will score goals. He will. He does miss a fair share of chances. And don't get me wrong. But
do you off the ball as well.
The biggest question is: do you think if we got them to, that would fix our goal scoring issue? Because our problem isn't chances created. Our problem is chances converted.
I declare our problem is also chance creating. We create maybe one. The reason why conversion seems to be standing out a lot is because we only create like 1 or 2 really really good chances, and then when we miss them, it stand out more. but we
I
don't.
know, Rodrigo. There's a Premier
Yeah.
League stat on big chances created, and I'm not exactly sure how they measure that, but let's just assume that they're just good chances
Alright, cool.
near the box, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how the measurement is that, but when I looked up chances, I wanted to look up chances created. The Premier League site has a big chances created, right? Statistic, and Chelsea were 6-7 off Man City, but in the goal table we were 20 goals off. Statistically, right? Chances created isn't as big of an issue as goal conversion, right? I know it does seem like that way. You know, when you said it, I didn't quite think it, but when you look at it statistically, we're further off in the goals converted than the actual chances created. I know it does feel like we only get like 1 or 2 big chances, but we do actually accumulate quite big chances throughout the season, and not that far off City and Liverpool. But in the goals scored, they've got a leap on us. So, and you know, before this season, we never were crying out for chances created. We were crying out for a goal scorer. That's why we had such a debate, Lukaku, Haaland, and whatnot. So I still just want someone that's like an agile goal scorer, like a winger goal scorer. I mean, Dembele. I mean, they're great.
When you think
they're great
Dembele
players.
is not
when you think about forwards that can score goals from an inside, so Raheem Sterling's got 117 goals, 77 assists in the Premier League. There ain't many inside forwards out there that I have physically seen across Europe that score to the levels that Salah and Mane do.
And
for example.
Kounde is there, but obviously
it could be an agile striker. Yeah, Jamie, could be an agile striker.
What do you mean by that? Explain it.
And Aubameyang, and then Cuckoo. I mean, I was always a massive fan of Luka Jovic. You know, Alec Watkins, Richarlison, like these strikers. They look in the mold of almost wingers, but they're strikers, and call them out. They're not the focal points that they can move out wide. They can do a decent job out wide. Werner is the same striker. If Werner can convert, he's the perfect player for what we need. But he just he's cursed. Someone doesn't want to let him score. So it doesn't have to be an inside forward. Just someone that can interchange with all of them. Yeah, and Rodrigo, I agree that Dembele isn't the solution.
Have you been eating waffles today? It's what Sir Timo Werner said to you. He wanted me to ask you.
Is that Fata?
No, hey, goals have been shared across the team. No one forward has scored 20 plus goals. If you have creativity in your team, you'll get goals across the park. Yeah. But what are you saying, Rodrigo?
Another issue that we might have with Sterling is his motivation. That's the one thing that will keep coming back in my head is how motivated is Sterling really is. Does he see Chelsea as a step up? Does he come here to challenge and think, oh, I've got things to prove? Because I feel as if he's already, I don't know, maybe that's the impression I get from him. He's like he's done it all. I mean, he's proved at Liverpool. So the move from Liverpool to Man City, that's to prove himself, right? And now he's won it all at Man City, apart from the Champions League. So coming to Chelsea, would he see that as a step down? And if he does see that as that, would he walk in a dressing room thinking he's the big man now, and he's trying to, you know how Lukaku was walking around thinking he's like the big brother and try to bully everyone about. So I don't know how motivated is Sterling really.
I think the answer to that is, and
World Cup. You'll say maybe you want to.
No, yeah, you got the World Cup, but you got to bear in mind he knows what Chelsea is. He knows the type of club it is. Won numerous of trophies over the last decade. Yeah. If you wanted to take a step down and maybe not be and take a little bit of a step back in your own career, don't move to Chelsea. You know what I mean? You come to Chelsea because you want to win things, and I just feel that if he's choosing Chelsea, he's choosing it knowing that he's still going to be fighting for things, and he's going to be fighting for his place, and he needs to, if he starts, he needs to be the man that steps up and brings the goals. Like, I don't feel like his mindset should be shifted because he's coming to a team that is wanting to compete and wanting to win a title, which is nearly 6 years now. Like, do you know what I mean? Like that mindset, I don't think's in him. I don't think that's the case, but you could be right. But I just feel if he wanted that, he would have just gone to someone minor or left the Premier League and gone somewhere else. You know, that's the other option.
You know what I don't get, Jim? I still kind of thought he was a bit of a big part player for Man City, and that Man City would try and keep him. Like, he played a number of games for him still.
Yeah, but do you know what? I don't really think Man City... I think, like I said, I think Man City selling him is more of a business thing to a point where they're maybe looking to just move forward. Yeah, like I don't think they look at the player and go, he's not good enough. I just think they just look at it and go, well, you know, he's been with us for long enough. If he wants that move,
but you think the Jesus deal might affect this if Jesus goes to Arsenal? Okay.
No, I don't think.
Wouldn't
because
Sterling
they need to balance their books? That's why.
Yeah,
you have to balance it.
Wouldn't Sterling stay though for another year? Like, I mean, let's say where I'm coming with that is, if Sterling has the mindset of trying to keep similar wages that he's on, right? Well, and then if a lot of clubs that are in for him want him to take a massive pay cut, he could wait the year and then have a choice of wherever he wants to go, get a sign-on bonus, and probably keep similar wages to because he's on a free transfer to what he's getting.
Yeah, just quickly, we've just got a comment here from actually Matt Law through the Telegraph. There is an article from the Telegraph, but I can't bring it up. It basically says that Thomas Tuchel holds a long-term interest in Ake, having first become interested in the player whilst at Borussia Dortmund. Sources claimed Sterling would still cost Chelsea between 50 to 60 million, is what Matt Law said. He's kind of come out and squashed the 35 million proposed value, which is what DiMarzio came out with as well. From that, but the Ake thing just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I still don't get why out of all the players that would be linked to, he would look at him.
I think
we had a chance to buy him. Why didn't we buy him? We didn't. We're linked with Ake every transfer window. His name pops up every transfer window, and we had opportunity. We had a buyback clause on him as well.
Yeah.
I think this is nonsense. Like, every transfer window, his name pops up.
I mean, because we are losing Rudiger, we should go get someone experienced like Koulibaly. Because Ake, I mean, if you get any Kounde is very good, but he's young. You know, he's going to make mistakes. So we need to have experience as a back like Thiago Silva. So for me, like, we need to go for like Koulibaly or someone who you know, if Thiago Silva gets injured next season, or if he's tired, and you play two youngsters as centre back, it's tough, man. I think we need to get someone who can. For me, Koulibaly will take Thiago Silva's place in the future if we go for him, and we need someone experienced. And for centre backs and CDM, you cannot take risk with youngsters because one mistake, you can lose every. Let's say Chelsea play a very good game, and the goalkeeper on the other team was like Courtois, and then Ake or someone young make one mistake, and that's it. You lose the game, and that's why. You cannot always play youngsters. I think you get people like Reece James, who's like, very, very good. It's very rare. But it's not gonna happen like that. So for me, Ake, we need to go someone experienced, someone who you can, who can lead.
Do you know how old Ake is? It's funny that you say that. We all think Ake is still young. The guy's like 27 years old now.
He's. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like Ake doesn't have the leadership qualities. Like.
Yeah,
no, it doesn't. It's just funny because you're saying the way you were wording it is almost like Ake's still a young player, and we all probably see him as a young player.
Yeah, because I always thought Ake was like 25 or so.
Yeah, he's big boy now. I mean, he still hasn't done well. So
on other news, we've also got a comment from Matt Law again, and it's reverting away from the news around Ake, and it's news back onto Romelu Lukaku, and it basically says that Inter Milan are on the verge of signing Romelu Lukaku, which will prompt Chelsea into focusing on incoming transfer business, including attacking players to make firm bids for amid Raheem Sterling interest. So on the verge, meaning should be. I think it could be done.
Didn't Pice say something about Todd Boehly having a video call or some sort of conversation with Inter Milan today or something like that?
Meeting. I think we have a meeting.
Yeah, he did. He did earlier on today. Yeah, that's what I read as well. What else have we got here? I'm just reading because this is just coming thick and fast as we speak.
Man, I'm tired of Lukaku.
Sorry, say that again.
I mean, I'm tired of Lukaku. I just want him to wear the shirt of Inter, and then I'm done. I'm just like, I don't want to see the news of Lukaku. Just put something else. Like, you know how when you go on PYS or Absolute Chelsea or what on Chelsea, and just like, everything's like, because last summer everything was about Lukaku, and now when you go to search about Chelsea, it's about Lukaku but going to Inter. I'm like,
So Man City will still demand 50 to 60 million for Raheem Sterling, despite having just 1 year left
It's
on his
big,
contract deal. With what Matt Law is saying now. So Matt Law is throwing the daggers at the moment, squashing the Di Marzio comments
squashing,
around. So, what are your
I
thoughts
mean,
on
it's
that,
too
guys?
much, man. I think I'll
Some
go
people-
maximum 40 million for Sterling. I mean, anything like 50 to 60, I think. Unless we sell Warner and someone else, but I mean,
Yeah, his
like
wage is
Declared
too
say,
high
we
for
could
me.
get it free. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you guys think about Sterling, but like, let's see if we go for 40, 55, because City is kind of our rival, and if City boosts the price, you cannot blame them, because they're selling to a rival. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know about this.
that's why they're going to command him. Look, if it's all about Sterling, if Sterling's move is all about game time, then he's willing to take a pay cut, and we get him, around the 35 mil mark that's been suggested, then it probably is a good deal.
Mhm.
Especially if someone else is leaving, because we don't know if Werner wants to leave or Ziyech, or anyone like that.
Yeah,
So the
It
other
would
one-
be a good deal, but I don't think so. I think he's going to command a lot of
Yeah.
the transfer bill and the wages, and I don't think he's completely solves our main issues.
True.
So Matt Law says that Tuchel may recommend Chelsea sign 2 forwards this summer. Is what we hear. What he says there as well. What are you saying, Flawless? Is it Flawless? Yeah. What are you saying, Flawless?
Yeah, I would say get Ousmane Dembele and Raheem Sterling. So that's what that's what I would say, because Dembele is the kind of guy that we really need in this team in our attack. The guy that he's direct, so he's not the kind of guy that will always have to pass, making a bad pass. When he gets the ball, he goes direct and then creates a lot of chances for strikers to score goals. For me, I would prefer we shouldn't go for another striker anymore. Let's just use the academy guy that plays for Southampton, and let's just get the wingers. I'm tired of looking for another number 9 to come and score goals. I'm tired. Let's just get the academy guy from Southampton, get it Dembele and Sterling, and then we see where we go from there. So for me, I would say Chelsea focus on get a new DM, the wing backs, and two attackers, and that's it. And that's what we can do.
Yes, I think I like Sterling too, because, like you said, he's very direct. I think if you watch Man City, I think like when you look at Sterling and Mahrez, they're always very, very direct, and
Very
Dembele
direct,
was
yeah.
always direct in his team. So having Sterling and Dembele, you know for sure that Chelsea will be like a very, very good to see in eyes also, like in terms of going forward. They can win you penalties, they can win you free kicks, which James can take or Mount can take. So it's very good going forward. But for me, it's like, I think I will keep Timo Werner. I think I will sell Ziyech. I will sell Ziyech. Pulisic 50-50. But I will keep Timo Werner. Why? Because for me, we should play Timo Werner as a 9. Like, let's say if Havertz needs to get rest, for example. Okay, let's say if Havertz needs to rest or something. I will keep Timo Werner. Why? Because sometimes if you're winning like 1 or 2-0, the teams that's parking the bus, they will have to look at City when they play. They try to score goals in the first 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. They try to score 2 goals. Once they do that, the other team have to attack. So if you do that, Werner will get chances because they have to play. Then will be high line. So Chelsea needs to change their play of like 15 minutes, go full attack. Try to score 1 or 2 goals, and then the other team who's deciding to park the bus will have to attack anyways now. So that will help Werner. That will help Werner.
The problem with me now is that Chelsea now they are very slow on the transfer market. No, you know that Alonso is going to be leaving. So why don't you get a backup left wing back or a backup left back, and let's start from there. We know that as Liqueta, we don't want him anymore in the club.
Yeah.
Then you move fast with the signings. We have a lot of places to fill up. So what's the hold up with Chelsea? What's going on? Lukaku is not going to stop us from signing a defense that we really want. What's
We
going
could
on?
have signed someone. Yeah, fine. I think I don't know why we are taking so slow, but
Todd Boehly is the issue.
We'll see. No, I
Happy
don't think it's
Father's
an
Day,
issue. I
Bobby.
think it's a boarding. I think it's a recruiting stuff. Could be.
Just want to quickly say Happy Father's Day to all fathers in the house. Big up to Bobby as well. Happy Father's Day to anyone that is a father out there as well. 50 mil there, Dylan. Yes, that's what we're hearing now. I told you guys we're going to be on what I call a bit of a roller coaster ride. And listen,
true.
you know, we'll be talking about a bit of art news in regards to like DiMarzio, which we did earlier on today. And the next minute we're getting swung into Matt Law saying that this is Chelsea. This is a Chelsea thing, guys. This is what happened. So, yeah, we just have to just be geared up, ready for the roller coaster, as I call it. That is Chelsea, because there will be players that we weren't.
Yeah, it's tough because for me, it was Bissouma that shocked me. I think I wake up in the morning, my friend was like, "Yo, Bissouma went to Spurs," and I was shocked. You know, that's what pissed me off. That was pissed me off. Was Bissouma? Yeah. Bissouma to Spurs.
But I can't really be pissed off with Bissouma because he had a case that is trying to settle right now. But what really pissed me off is how is Aston Villa going to get Camara for a free transfer?
Oh, we were banned. We couldn't do anything, to be fair.
How come? We're supposed to sign this guy on a free and then use that money to spend on other quality players in another position. And now look at Koulibaly and look at this other defender that Inter is also trying to sign. So we have to move very, very fast on the transfer market. Lukaku and Kounde, they are not going to hold us back. If Kounde is not ready or Savić is trying to make Agbo, then go for another defender. We have to be really quick. Look at Arsenal moving fast. Look at Man City. Look at Liverpool. And those are the teams that are going to be challenging for the top four. So we have to move very, very, very quick on the transfer window. It's not that the preseason starts and they are still trying to look for players and sign players.
Flawless,
say with me. Boehly out. Say with me.
Boehly out.
I don't understand why are we not moving quickly on the transfer market. We have Rudiger left already. Christensen left already. So why is it that we are not going to sign another centre back, even if we've not signed a Kounde already? Koulibaly is there, and this other guy that plays for I don't know what his name. I think he plays for is it Atlanta or Fiorentina? I cannot remember the guy that
Bremer. I think there's one called Bremer, and then there's another like Gorbion.
Exactly. Bremer. That's what I'm talking about.
Bremer,
so
he's very good.
If you know that you are going to be signing two centre backs, if you cannot make a decision on Koulibaly or this Bremer guy, Kounde, you know you are going to sign him. Let's just say we are going to sign him. So it's either you're getting Koulibaly or that Bremer guy. So what are you waiting for?
I think you know when people said Lukaku deal is holding up a lot of signing, I believe is that we probably want to get someone from Inter Milan, and that's probably what's holding. Maybe we want.
But who do we get from Inter Milan? Because Dumfries, I don't know if it's.
Maybe
do you guys rate Dumfries? Like because Dumfries, I don't know about Dumfries. I mean, I've seen Dumfries play in Netherlands. I don't know if I rate him.
Dumfries, I think for a backup player, is not that bad. We can get those. If that's what
Dujan Sterling can be backup to Rhys James.
But the thing is, Dujan Sterling, we are Inter wants Lukaku, and we are trying to make a deal so that we can be able to push off Lukaku. So then if that's what they want to do, then get Dumfries as a backup. And then you go and sign a centre back. Move quickly. You have to move quickly. Not trying to have a discussion.
We got more important stuff to do at the moment. We have to get rid of we have to look at in-house before transfers.
What is more important than transfers?
Getting rid of Lukaku is important. Re-signing, giving new contracts to Rhys James, Mount, and Mendy because they're all on really low wages. And trying to work out with the Kounde and Jorginho whether they're staying or not, or whether they re-sign. So there is an uncertainty on who is going and who is staying. We already lost 2 players, and also there's also a lot of we're not building a first 11. We're building a 25-man squad. This is a World Cup season. There's a World Cup in between. There's going to be 5 subs. A lot of the players on the bench are going to get a lot of game time. So there's a lot of positions we have to fill with the loan players and youth players, right? And Tuchel doesn't even know who's going to do that.
But the problem is,
guys, sorry. I've got to shoot. I've got to go out. Unfortunately, this is my life. It's mad. We will be doing open shows, open line shows usually. I know with the transfer show I've had people come on, but we will be opening it up with like longer shows for you guys to get involved in that as well. Eric Blue, I know you've just come in, mate, but I'm about to shoot off. Anything you want to say quickly?
Yeah. Sorry, it's a little bit late, but Yeah, I want Sterling. I would be willing to pay up to 60, even though that's not what I want. But the main issue is the wages. I think the wages are a little bit high. Hopefully, we can sort that out. Hopefully, Dembele comes in as well. And we just need to, have one signing to kick things off. I think that's what people are waiting for.
True.
Fair enough. I mean, you feel a lot different to others. Some people feel that that's too much for him to come. Some others are saying that like yourself, that we should just spend the money and get him. So yeah, no, it's interesting stuff for me personally, Eric. I think 60 million is a little bit too much personally for him. Only because I feel like I keep saying it. I feel we need to be a lot more smarter in the market. That's all. And again, look. If you sell Werner and say Ziyech or Pulisic and you get that fund and you've got the money, then cool. Do you know what I mean? Like you can utilize that money to bring in players for like bigger values. But if we can get them for anything between 35 to 45 mil, I would take it personally. But we have to see what happens with it, mate. We really have to see what happens with it. Guys, thank you very much for jumping in. I appreciate every single one of you guys as always. Do me a favor. No worries. Do me a favor. Obviously, before you leave, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to if you're new to GNA TV as well. We will slowly start getting, shows daily again. I've just been very busy with the moving of the house and that, but now Chelsea's starting to heat up. Things are happening. We will be covering it all as it happens as much as we can. But there's a link here to KH No Filter Football. That's another Chelsea YouTube channel. They're going live right as we speak. So if you can, all of you people that are still in the chat, if you could all go over there and just say GNA TV sent us and listen in and subscribe over there, that'd be great. If you guys want to continue listening to more Chelsea talk, because they're over there doing that as well. It's a great show. I usually go on there as well. So click that link, KH, and the name is KH. No, I'll put it in so people know. No Filter Football. Go and check them out. They're going live right after me as well. Sir Timo, big up to you, man. Nice to see you in the chat as well. Declared, thank you very much, Flawless, Eric Blue. Eric Blue, sorry, I've had to finish off early, mate.
No, it's my fault. I was too late.
Yeah, no worries, mate. I just didn't want you to feel like I was being rude or something.
No, of course not.
Big up to everyone. We'll be back maybe tomorrow afternoon time, normal times around 1 o'clock for streams if there is any more breaking news. But like I said, you guys go and swing over to that link that's in there now. Hit the likes, get this over 200, and I will see you again very, 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 very soon, guys. Peace out.